Hey, there's Joe Sonic Disruptive. How are you? I am well. So Lunatic Soul have released their seventh, I believe, album, Through Shaded Woods, on November 13th. And after spending a nice day with it, I'm here to review it. My first experience listening to the full album in its entirety was the evening of the 13th. Lunatic Soul are one of these bands that I like to really set aside time because I want to listen to it in the right environment. I want to be fully attentive to the music. It's the type of music that you need to do that with to get the full meaning from it. So I did that. And I went on a long walk on this nice wooded path. Leads up this big hill. At the top of the hill you have a Native American burial ground. Just me. There's no one else out there today, which was very nice. Or yesterday. And it was at sunset, which just was the perfect visual backdrop to this audio journey that I was embarking upon. It fit perfectly, and I'd suggest doing the same. It was a great experience, man. I don't know how any other way to put it other than that. Now, as far as the album itself, if you get just the standard, it's just 6 songs. It's like about 40 minutes, pretty short. But if you get the extended version, it's about an hour and 20 minutes, and you get 3 extra songs, mostly instrumentals, and the final one is Transitions 2, which is, it's like 27 minutes long, and it's so cool. Let's walk our way through this album a little bit. So we start off with Nave. I'm going to call it that, even though if I don't know if that's how it's pronounced for sure. It was released before, so you may have heard it. If you're interested in Lunatic Soul, you probably did hear this. It gives you a nice jumping off point into this record, and you know that you're in for a very folky, very tribal feel, which doesn't deviate at all. This album sticks in this fairly narrow box, but it does it in such a genius way. And so the first song, it's dancey, it's upbeat, there's some beautiful, just ethereal backing vocals going on, some really cool stuff. The passage is that's like over 9 minutes long. Absolutely beautiful song. Takes you on a journey from start to finish. Many ebbs and flows. Even gets really heavy towards the ending of this. Beautiful, beautiful track. Going into Through Shaded Woods, which is, I think it's about 6 minutes long. Phenomenal song. Here they introduce a little more of an electronic feel, a little bit more treatment on the vocals with some cool effects. Eerie sounds, just one of my favorite tracks on this album. But most of them are, I guess you could say. From there we go into Oblivion, another is, am I right? I am. Oblivion is phenomenal. Some absolutely killer vocals by Mariuez, which I need to say right off the bat that this, my own personal opinion, this is probably his best vocal work to date. This whole album, the vocals are phenomenal. And I love his vocals on everything else, but there's something almost extra special here that I can't quite put my finger on it. There's some little inflections. There's just some things that it's really, really special though. And another very tribal, folky, you have some chanting going on, just everything that you would expect, but with that ethereal, majestic, eerie strangeness that is Lunatic Soul. It's all in there. And now on my walk, I get to the top about at this point to the burial mounds right as summoning dance is beginning. And that was perfect. Really strange, but that song, for the song itself is magical. It really is. It starts off extremely mournful, just beautiful vocal lines, and it picks up the pace as we go along. And by the end, you're dancing. It goes from extremely mournful to uplifting in the same song. Beautiful song, beautiful journey. And so I'm listening to this fully immersed in the experience, and you could almost envision spirits coming up from those mounds and like circling around the trees or something. Now I didn't see it. I didn't see that. Would have been kind of cool if I did, but I didn't. But in my mind, I was kind of imagining that happening. Such a stellar track. And if you're doing the standard version, The Fountain, which was pre-released, it was their last single a few days before the drop of this record. That's the finale, and so beautiful. Some of his best vocal work ever is in this song. Lyrics are perfect. The music is perfect. Everything here is very sparse. There's a lot of space between the notes. And yet with that sparsicity, which is probably not a word, but we'll say it is, you still get so many interesting moments. There's still a lot going on, even though it's very dialed back and very sparse. A lot in the vocal melodies, a lot in the chants, the ethereal sounds coming in. There's just different things happening that you'll pick up on after several listens. But what at first may seem very, very sparse, without not a lot happening, the more you listen, you realize that there's quite a lot happening actually musically in a lot of these songs. But The Fountain is a completely gorgeous track, phenomenal. And from there we got two very upbeat, heavy. These are probably the heaviest of Lunatic Soul's canon, but it's still folky. It's a folky heavy, and it's still that tribal beat permeates through this record, and you just get that feeling, and it doesn't let up. Those two songs are great. I'm not pronouncing them because I probably can't. I don't know those words. Very good though. Those are in the same theme, both of those tracks, and are very instrumental based. There's some lyrics, but very much instrumental. And then we get to the 27 plus minute, I believe, Transitions 2. This is such a great track to listen to. It's long. There's some spoken word. There's some chanting in it as well. But you get to visit so many snippets done in different ways of other Lunatic Soul music from the past. It's so good. And again, what this album does really well is they play in this small box so well, but there's these musical motifs that repeat over and over again. They kind of come rushing back, kind of like past memories. They keep coming back to you. Melody lines do the same. They're just reworked in different ways. Very clever way of doing things. Like the last Lunatic Soul record did, where you get, a lot of similar ideas rearranged in a different way. It's very cool stuff. That being said, the production is amazing. If you're into music that you can be immersed in and you can absorb and not just listen to, kind of have music that kind of becomes you. It's music for the soul and for the mind, and it is glorious if you listen to it in that way. If you let it envelop you, it'll take you places that you want to go. It really will. Beautiful record. So on my way back from my walk, music's finished. I get in my car, start it up, get ready to head out, and all of a sudden the radio switches, goes to AM. Not a big deal, I'm sure. I've had it for a couple years. It's never done that before. I've never even had it on AM before. Actually, I've never had it on FM either before because I never listen to the radio. It's either satellite or I listen to something else through it, but I've never had it on either one of those. But it just switches all of a sudden. Boom. Again, nothing, I'm sure, but I like to think of it as maybe the native spirits approving of this record. That's what I like to think. Anyway, phenomenal record. Highly, highly recommended. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you.